I believe this is the best time to make fake mons on Legends ZA, as the Pokemon for the game have most likely already been finalized. So I'd love to make predictions to see how far off I am from the actual designs from the game we'll get later this year. Alright, so apparently Pokemon Legends ZA takes place in one city. The map shows a renovated Lumio City where the 5 plazas are now noticeably different from each other. Given how Legends Arceus included 5 chapters which were each bookmarked by a noble Pokemon boss battle, I think this is a perfect layout to have 5 Pokemon to serve as the boss of each plaza. So the noble Pokemon in Legends Arceus were each a new design, most of them being a regional variant, and it's pretty understandable that the new designs of the new game would get some kind of spotlight. However, instead of regional variants, Legends ZA is also bringing back Mega Evolution, which make Pokemon have stronger and tougher stats that make them perfect boss encounters. Now the 5 plazas are named after colors in French, which made me think, what if these colors each represented a type? Rouge being fire, jaune being electric, vert being grass, bleu being water, and magenta, well, honestly psychic fits best here, but what if it was fairy instead, as fairy was introduced to the games alongside this region. In fact, the Mega Sylveon I covered in my last video can fit this slot quite nicely, which leaves us with 4 other plazas. Honestly, I could choose any Pokemon here, but I ended up choosing only Kalos Pokemon in this video. It was a challenge because Kalos introduced the fewest number of new species, as Game Freak was busy turning every Pokemon into 3D models, and many of the new designs were megas of older Pokemon. So, excluding the starters, legendaries, and mythicals, there are 2 new fire-type lines in Generation 6. Of those, I chose Talonflame, as they feel more iconic to Pokemon X and Y. And I think having that flying fletchling from the cutscenes growing up into a Mega Talonflame would be peak cinema. Talonflame is partly based off of a peregrine falcon, the fastest bird due to their diving maneuvers. This diving pose is quite iconic, so I wanted to make the Mega reference it. What if the spots on their body become jetpack flames, and they can't fully extend their wings or else the flames will go out of control? This flame is what lets them reach higher speeds and hit even harder. Now, Speed Boost here seems to be a strong ability on its own, but I wanted to ask, what if there was a new ability instead that set up Tailwind upon entry? It's a busted ability on paper, but Mega Talonflame is already very vulnerable to stealth rocks, as the Megas can't wear boots or hold any other item. I don't know, it's something to think about. There are also only 2 electric lines of Pokemon from Gen 6, and yeah, I went with Heliolisk, who is well associated with Lumio City's gym leader, Clement. Heliolisk is a frilled lizard who bathes in the sun to collect solar power. Alright, even though this frilled look is iconic, this look is only briefly shown during their attacks. So what if they're stuck in this frilled form? I also wanted to change the body layout in this Mega to really sell that this design is different from base Heliolisk, so the body became more like a raptor's. I tried turning the frills into a sundial, with the ridge on the face harkening to the real-life basilisk lizard. And oh yeah, since they're electric, I made their tail an electrical plug. It's a bit on the nose, but Pokemon had a plug design before. Honestly, should it be more of an electrical socket because they're gaining energy from the sun? Either way, I wanted to note while I'm writing down the abilities here, I know that Legends Arceus mostly didn't have abilities in their game. I don't know, I kinda wish Legends ZA would have abilities, but if there was a Mega Heliolisk, I would expect electric terrain to be set up on the battlefield, as a terrain mechanic was also introduced in Pokemon X and Y. Alright, this time there are 3 lines of grass types I could choose from. And while I really do like Trevenant, Gogoat seems more important to the XY games as they were one of the few rideable Pokemon there. Gogoat riding could very well come back in Legends ZA, but we've already ridden Gogoat before. That's not that special. Well, the rideable Gogoat in X and Y was pretty basic as well. So what if the Gogoat you could ride in Legends ZA gets a Mega Evolution, where the Mega can now smash through boulders? What if there were a grass rock type with a hardened head to smash through the obstacles? That's right, this is the first type change of the day. I didn't fully get Go-Goat's name. Like, are they a go-kart or is it just the verb go and goat? Either way, the evolution of a cart felt like an all-terrain vehicle. Turns out they're pretty chonky. So I made Mega Go-Goat built like a fridge, with rocks jutting out that happened to make a better seat for the player. Given the description I just gave, the ability should be Rockhead, but Go-Goat actually learns very few recoil moves, and yes, of course, they could learn new moves in this new game. But similar to Mega Heliolisk, what if Mega Go-Goat sets up grassy terrain? Alright, here's the last new design I made for this video, as I'm assigning Mega Sylveon as a 5th Plaza leader. So, water type. I don't know if this plaza is all indoors or if it's just one big pool, but they do look pretty empty on the map. What if this was a pool and you could see a dragon lurking about? Is that a Gyarados? No, that can't be right. We've seen a Mega Gyarados before and it doesn't look like this. That's when we see it jump out of the water and reveal that they're a Mega Clawitzer. Clawitzer is a reference to the real-life pistol shrimp, who has one bigger hand that can snap so hard that they can boil the water around them. Now the name Clawitzer isn't based off of the pistol, but a howitzer cannon instead. I saw the beak-like shape of Clawitzer's hand and thought it could be like a pseudo face of a dragon. So I looked up dragon cannons and saw these long cannons with dragon faces on them. While sketching out the design, I figured that having the bigger arm look like a shrimp on its own could be pretty funny, and also be cohesive with the crescent-like shape language. Clawitzer's ability is already called Mega Launcher, so I thought it would be shame if the Mega Evolution lost it. Now Clawitzer can have a stab, Mega Launcher boosted Dragon Pulse, which is pretty darn scary. Imagine them to be a bit slower because of this larger hand, but Water Dragon should be a good bulky type combo to work in Trick Room. I don't know. I personally like thinking about competitive viability, but we truly won't know until something like this is in a game with competitive circuits. As I wrap up, I was wondering on whether I should make Mega Sylveon have Misty Surge as their ability. I mean, it works. Do I like the sound of Magic Guard as a more direct reference to the magical girl trope? At the very least, the Plaza battle could be filled with the terrain. Electric, Grass, and Misty Terrain are the 3 terrain introduced in Pokemon X and Y. But some of you might recognize that there are now 4 terrains in the games. Psychic Terrain was actually introduced in Generation 7, Sun and Moon, but given how the 4 terrains have been more prominent over the past few games, maybe I should try to fit a Psychic Surger somewhere. Maybe there could be another Mega somehow. Or even a regional variant to pick up the final terrain. But that sounds like another video. I'm looking forward to making more Legends ZA predictions so I can see how far off I was by the time the game releases. And even if this wasn't the most perfect time to make Fakemon, I believe that people should be free to make and share their own art. If you like the kind of art I made, subscribe to the channel. I've been working on my own game with my own STEM-based creatures in the background, but I've made plenty of videos on them in the past, so you could go check them out. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for their direct support of my works, but you could always support me for free by liking and sharing the video. Alright, thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned for more predictions for a while. Alright, have a nice one.